This pre-proposal conference will be recorded for note-taking purposes and to answer any questions that we may need answered later on. So I thank you for that. Again, good afternoon. My name is Howard Tutman, Neighborhood Development Officer for Baltimore City Department of Housing and Community Development Division. And the purpose of our meeting today is the pre-submission meeting for our fall 2022 expression of interest, also known as our EOI.
Howard, Howard, this is Wanda. I think you have a lot of people on here that are new. Can you explain?
I'm getting into that, Wanda. I'll get into that.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
At this point, I would like members of the development team to introduce themselves, followed by members of our colleagues from Baltimore City Public Schools. Kelly?
Sure. Hello, my name is Kelly Bacala. I'm the Neighborhood Development Officer for Northwest Baltimore.
Danielle?
Hello, everyone. I'm Danielle Reynolds. I am the administrator for the development team.
Kevin?
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Kevin Nash. I'm the Public Information Officer for DHCD.
Thank you. And from our Baltimore City School team, Angela, if you could do the roll call for your team.
Absolutely. I'll start with myself. I'm Angela Alvarez. I'm the Executive Director of the Office of New Initiatives. I'll have Maureen go next.
I'm Maureen Gershberg. I'm the Director of Facilities Planning and Real Estate at Baltimore City Public Schools.
And then Katie.
Hi, everyone. My name is Katie Tartaglia. I'm a Senior Project Manager for the Facilities Planning Department at City School.
And I think we also have housing, not housing, planning. Okay. You got that, Howard?
Could you repeat that?
Oh, I was just noting that we also have the planning, city's planning team here. So I was going to give Eric a chance.
Yes, go right ahead, Eric.
Hey there, Eric Tiso, Chief of Land Use and Urban Design and Planning. I also chair the Site Plan Review Committee. And I believe Lauren Chizik is here with us as well.
Yep, hello, Lauren Chizik, Historic Preservation Planner with the Baltimore City Department of Planning.
And Kyle is here as well.
Good evening, folks. Kyle Leggs. I'm actually joining in on behalf of Jasmine, who's the Southern District Planner. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Next slide, please. Again, here is the agenda. We did introductions. We'll have a presentation and purpose, followed by questions and answers. And again, we are asking that if you have any questions, please type them in the chat. If you have any questions, please communicate those in the chat, and we'll have my colleague Kelly Bacala relay those questions so we can get the satisfactory answers. The expression of interest is a development tool used to field interest in specific development opportunities of mayor and city council owned properties. Also called the EOI, this process helps DHCD plan for upcoming RFP, request for proposal cycles, by identifying which opportunities have the strongest market interest. It is intended that the expression of interest, or EOI, will serve as a basis for establishing a list of qualified entities to respond to the request for proposal. So that is basically what the expression of interest, or EOI, is for, is to gauge interest in a particular site. Next slide, please. Again, expression of interest process to help determine potential reuse of city-owned properties. Developers are invited to join DHCD in-site inspections on specified dates and times. And of course, when you go out to a site inspection, to dress appropriately, bring flashlights, and other equipment to gauge your renovation costs. Next slide. The submission requirements. There is a letter of interest, which is part of the EOI submission package. There is number 2, the development team's qualifications and capabilities. We want to know developer capacity as well as project feasibility. Number 3 is the narrative of the proposed development, meaning a description of the uses. Number 4, proposed project budget, including construction costs. It is imperative that we know exactly how much your specific project will cost. And 5, funding sources. We would like you to identify both public and private funding sources so we can determine if the developer has the capacity to complete the project in a timely fashion. Next slide, please. The application. The application is on our website at dhcd.baltimorecity.gov/expression-interest-fall-2022. Again, on our website, as you see here, it shows an example of 2501 Seabury Road to 2700 Seaman Avenue. And if you click on learn more about this property, once it gives you a brief snapshot of the property, you'll see below, it will say submit an expression of interest now. And that will take you to the online application. Next slide, please. Again, as part of the application, when you go to our website, you'll see several topics: adopt a lot side yard, RFP, purchase city-owned property, water access, urban agriculture, and then you'll see down below the EOI program where you can browse properties for that particular year's expression of interest. And then it'll show you more information to the right. You will put that property or those properties in your cart. As you see the cart in red with one selected, and then you can apply. Next slide, please. Again, the application deadline. The EOI submissions must be received by Tuesday, January 10th, 2023 at 11:59 Eastern Standard Time. Any specific questions regarding this expression of interest, and here's the email address, which is dhcd.eoi@baltimorecity.gov. Next slide, please. Our assessment process, DHCD will convene a review panel. The review panel will consist of several members from other agencies like Department of Planning, Department of General Services, obviously DHCD, as well as with the schools. Baltimore City Schools will be on their respective expression of interest site. Number 1, we will review the expressions of interest, verify submission of completed EOIs. Number 2, we'll evaluate it. Again, that will be with developer capacity and project feasibility. We will have a community presentation. In most cases, we're making a determination to whether or not we will issue an RFP and whether or not it may be aligned with the community desires. And number 4, an issuance of a fall 2023 RFP, which is where we do a request for proposal and let everyone know that these properties will be moving on to the next step. Next slide, please. The timeline, expression of interest timeline. The EOI pre-submission meeting, obviously today, Monday, November 7th. Site inspection. We will get that out to you as far as there'll be a pre-registration for that, and that is to be determined. And that would be for the school site. There will not be a pre-registration for the site inspection for the lots on Edmondson Avenue, where you can drive up to the lots, take measurements, look at the lots. You can do that at your leisure. Questions and answers will be posted online on November 22nd. Submission deadline again, Tuesday, January 10th, 11:59 p.m. And again, this is the site, the website. And number 5, the EOI review will be from January 11th through February 10th. Next slide, please. The expression of interest, as you see on our, this is a snapshot of our website for the process. Again, as well as, I'm sorry, this is for RFPs that we have going on now. We did initially have these properties in a expression of interest. This was from last year. As you see, the Gilmore properties were part, the Gilmore properties that are now part of the RFP, excuse me. But initially they were part of the fall 2021 EOI. And that's the Gilmore Street bundles 1 and 2 are currently in an RFP that will close November 14th. Next slide. The first property up will be in the Upton community, 802 to 822 Edmondson Avenue, bundle number 1, and bundle number 2 is 803 to 817 Edmondson Avenue. Bundle number 1, 802 to 822 Edmondson Avenue, is 11 mayor and city council owned vacant lots. The zoning is R8 residential. The estimated square footage of the 11 lots is approximately 17,200 square feet. It's in the 21217 zip code, again, in historic Upton. These lots are adjacent to the Heritage Crossing community, minutes from downtown, University of Maryland, and the State Office Center. The same with 803 to 817 Edmondson Avenue, which is bundle number 2. It is 8 mayor and city council owned vacant lots. Again, the zoning is R8. It's approximately little less than 17,000 square feet. Again, 21217 in historic Upton. These lots are also, bundle 2 is adjacent to Heritage Crossing and also minutes from downtown, University of Maryland, and the State Center. There is current residential development going on in the 800 block of Harlem Avenue, 700 block of Dolphin Street. And the development focus is home ownership opportunities. The development focus is for home ownership opportunities. Next slide. Our next site is 2501 Seabury and 2700 Seaman Avenue. I will have Ms. Alvarez give us a little bit about this site, please. Ms. Alvarez, if you could.
So this site houses 2 school buildings. The South Side building, we call the South Side building, that currently houses New Era Academy. That program is set to close at the end of this year. So it will be, will not be housing a high school program. currently at the end of the year. And then Carter G. Woodson was a former elementary school building. There's also a portable on the site. We're interested in creative ideas about how to use this site. That also includes about 21 acres of land as our estimate of the size of the site for mixed use to include creation of a dedicated space for us for a small high school in the future. We're looking for developer partners who have visions around how to do that, how to accomplish that with the funding. It would be for a high school that we would run as city schools, but that you would, in exchange for building that for us, or giving us the funding to build that, you would be able to develop the land. We would work with our city council and our elected officials around the zoning if that's necessary in order to enact your vision. But that's sort of the general idea of the site. It would be for a smaller size high school than the current building that's on this site. We would want to serve approximately 600 students. The current size Southside building, just for so you have an understanding of scale, is designed to serve approximately 1,600 students. So it's a much larger building than we need for the need in this community in the future.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Alvarez. As you can see from the slide, current zoning is R6. The lot size is an estimated 940,460 square feet. Sits on 21.5 acres estimated in the Cherry Hill neighborhood 21225. And again, this is 2 buildings with connected HVAC systems, 1 portable and some land. Next slide, please. This is the facility condition assessment report for the Southside building and the facilities feasibility study for the Carter Goodwin building as well. And these are located also, there's a link for it on our website. Next slide, please. And the ideal respondent will be creative in its proposal for mixed-use vision for this property, meaning the schools inclusive of an approximately 600 to 700 seat high school managed and operated by city schools. A successful proposal will include dedicated space on the property to house the high school and will demonstrate the capacity to fund the cost of construction/renovation of the high school facility. City Schools is open to creative ideas about how to accomplish this goal. And again, let your next project be the one that leaves a lasting impact and a remarkable legacy. Next slide, please. Again, if you have any questions, here is our number, 410-396-4111. And again, our email addresses for any questions that you may have, dhcd.eoi@baltimorecity.gov. I will add that the neighborhood development officer, Robin Ayeli, for the school sites could not be with us this evening. She had a family emergency. She could not be with us. I will put her, or I can ask Kelly, if you can put Robin's email in the chat if any of our participants would like to reach out to Robin with any technical DHCD questions. At this point, we will check the chat. Thank you, Kelly. We will check the chat for any questions. Kelly?
Sure. So we do have one question, but we'll wait for some more to come in. The first question is, and this is, I guess, a little more for BCPS. Is it reasonable to assume that BCPS would pay rent in exchange for the developer building a new high school at the Cherry Hill site?
We're looking for an opportunity that would not cost us funding. Like we would pay for obviously our own maintenance of the site, our own upkeep of the site, and our own utilities with the site. But we're looking for an idea, a vision, an idea that would, through the proceeds or through other funding opportunities that a developer or partner may have access to, that would fund the construction of the site, similar to what we've seen done in other cities. Good question.
Okay. That is currently still the only question.
And we'll wait a few minutes for anyone to type their questions in the chat. Thanks, Kelly.
No problem. Yes, we've done enough of these, Howard. They know our process a little better.
Exactly.
I'm going to look at this as a positive.
There's one thing I want to add is disclosed, and so if you go on the city's on the website where the EOI is, there's more detail about the property. I just want to make sure that I name that here because it wasn't in the slides. The land on which Carter G. Woodson sits, that portion of the land, at one time in the past, looks like it was a pauper's grave site. We think that was removed, but it's very hard to know when you go back in time. So we've disclosed that in the full details of the EOI that's on the website. It's just important to know because there's state law and other requirements that come into play. So I just wanted to make sure I named that here because it was in the presentation, but it's also disclosed in the full description that's online.
Okay, thanks a lot, Angela. The next question, we did have two more come in. Same person. The question is, does that include a purchase sellback situation where the developer could develop the complete site and then give it back to the city when profit has been achieved from the mixed use?
Yeah, I think we're pretty open to different ideas about how to achieve this goal. So we're open to different ideas. I think we would want to look at like the timing around that. But this is something that we, recognize would not be ready tomorrow. We're looking several years into the future. And so, yeah, we're open to different kinds of proposals about how to do it.
Great, thanks. The next question is, and I can probably answer this, but will you provide a list of the participants here tonight and their firms? No, we will not. This is public, so if you'd like to take that information down, or if you are with a firm and you would like to put your information in the chat, you are welcome to do so. We can provide a list of all the city employees who have been on here tonight that are affiliated with the projects, but we will not be releasing a list of the participants. Any other questions for tonight? Howard, do you want to say the deadline one more time for the EOI?
Sure. The deadline is January 10th, 2023 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Great. I think we might be good.
If there are no other questions, again, if you think of a question overnight or anytime in the future, please hit us up at the dhcd.eoi@baltimorecity.gov. Obviously, we'll be happy to give you a timely response. Is there anything in the chat?
Eric Tiso has added some information about zoning for the R6 district and also possible developer requirement contact information. It's very handy. I definitely recommend copy and pasting that. We'll also make sure to put this information in the questions that we put. I'll also just add for folks not in the chat, Lauren Shizik of Historic Preservation has noted that previous use of a portion of the school site as a city-run cemetery. There are state laws that protect burials, even unmarked ones, and there are some relevant resources. And if folks have questions, she can be reached, and her email is in the chat, laurenchiswick@baltimorecity.gov. That's SCHISZIK. I'm sure all of you knew exactly how to spell that.
Yes, yes.
But please feel free to reach out if you have questions about historic preservation. Lauren is an excellent resource.
And
Thanks.
before we close out, our director, Teresa Stevens, Director of Neighborhood Development and Outreach, she is not available this week, but she sends her regrets. She normally manages these types of forum. And again, Teresa Stevens is still with us, but she's out of the office this week.
RIP. No, I'm kidding.
If there are no other questions in the chat, any other questions in the chat?
I think we're good. Maybe
All right.
that third time, just to make
That's
sure,
it.
but I think we're okay.
I thank everyone for joining us. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. And again, if you have any questions about the Edmondson site, you can hit me up, howard.tutman@baltimorecity.gov, or you can use our general email box. And thank you very much. Thank you, Kelly, Danielle. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, BCPS and Eric Tissot, Lauren, Kyle, planning team. Thank you very much. And again, thanks to everyone who participated this evening. Have a great evening. Stay safe, everyone.
Great
You
job,
do the
Howard.
same.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.